So there's something here that confuses the shit out of me. Um, so regarding transcendental functions, this is the Wikipedia article on this, right? So transcendental function is an analytic function that does not satisfy a polynomial equation, in contrast to an algebraic function. In other words, transcendental function transcends algebra, in that it cannot be expressed algebraically. And examples of this include exponentials, logarithms, trig functions, right? Well, down here, we have this bit on dimensional analysis. And allegedly, in dimensional analysis, transcendental functions are notable because they make sense only when their argument is dimensionless. Because of this, transcendental functions can be an easy-to-spot source of dimensional errors. For example, log, and this is going to be log base 10, of 5 meters is a nonsensical expression. Unlike log, again base 10, of 5 meters on 3 meters, or log base 10 of 3 meters. One could attempt to apply a logarithmic identity to get log of 5 plus log of meters, which highlights the problem. Applying a non-algebraic operation to a dimension creates meaningless results. Okay, now I have some problems with this. One, let's just look at the log thing, right? So, just kind of like fiddling around with it, making sure I have a clear head about this. So, some number to the log base that number of another number is just the other number, right? So, like 3 things are at play, but we only see 2 of them here. Alright, so the log undoes the exponent. So for instance, log base 10 of 1,000 is 3 because 10 to that will give you the 1,000 back, right? So this and this are the same thing, right? And then looking at exponents, a to the 3rd power is 1 times a times a times a, right? We multiply it 3 times. So a to the n, which is b, has a's unit extended to n dimensions, right? And that is why that is the problem, because they haven't actually fucking thought it through, right? So log base a of b yields the number of dimensions in b's unit. That tells you what it is. If these are just numbers, then that tells you if b had a unit on it, how many dimensions that unit would have to be in relative to the dimensions of a. Right. So the unit of the log's base is related to the unit of the log's argument, but it's not simple, right? So log base 2 meters of 8 meters cubed is validly 3. This is true. Log base 2 meters, so now there's a unit in there, of 8 cubic meters, so now there's a unit in the log's argument, is 3. This is fine. This is true. But it also means that this decomposes in an interesting way, right? So this log base 2 meters of 8 cubic meters decomposes to log base 2 of 8 equals log base meters of meters cubed, right? So it's not, they're wrong. It's not that you can't do this, it's that what they're attempting to do is just obviously moronic. That's not how it works. So when you sit there and try one way that is stupid, you don't get to proclaim that it's not possible. All that happened is you did something stupid and it didn't work. You don't know anything based on that, right? Now let's look at trig. Okay, so say we've got sine of pi on 4 radians, right? What does that give you? Well, it gives you a relative distance of the square root of 2 on 2, okay? And if we are applying this to a radius of 1 meter, this square root of 2 on 2 is going to be in meters, right? But we can actually abstract this a little more nicely so that the unit is built into the argument of the trig function, right? So we can just say this pi on 4 is radians, right? So it's just times r. Whatever your radius is, that's how you find this angle. Okay? Now, that means that you're going to get the square root of 2 on 2 times r, where r is the length of 1 radian, whatever the fuck that is. It can be an inch, a mile, 4 inches, 6 centimeters, who gives a shit? Whatever the unit of r is here, it's exactly the same here. It's carried over. So what the fuck are you talking about that you can't do dimensional analysis with these things? Are you retarded? That's the only explanation I can see for anyone ever making this claim. Because this is easy. This is trivial. I don't understand how the fuck this... What? Are you retarded? Clearly you are. But, Jesus Christ. And this is interesting too, right? Because this whole claim, right? This highlights the problem. Applying a non-algebraic operation to a dimension creates meaningless results. So what is meter plus meter? What does that give you? That's an algebraic operation, but meter plus meter doesn't give you anything. You can't add units that way. If it's 1 meter plus 1 meter, now it's 2 meters. That's true. But if I remove the numbers and they're just bare units, this doesn't mean anything. So from all angles, this account of whatever problem they're perceiving is just complete bullshit. What the fuck is going on? Why is everyone retarded?